Hey guys.
How's everybody doing? I hope you all are well. I am back today to work on a collage cover that a couple of you guys asked me if I would show how I do this, my process, and I'm gonna start on one. I'm gonna show you that I've already started on another one, which is this cover, and I've got a lot right here in this small little area. But I started on this one. Now this is not, I just kind of set that there. That's not glued down yet. So this is just a book cover that I started on. And then my original idea, I think, was I was going to use this on here. And then here's the back. And I'm not done. Like I said, I just started. I wanted to kind of show you sort of in mid-process, okay? So I'm either going to put a spine in the middle of this, or I'm going to do a ring bound with this. But I was just kind of playing around with some of the things that I had. And then I have this image too, which I was going to put on the back of this one. But after working on this, I think I might use this image, use this bigger image on this. I don't know. I hadn't totally made up my mind yet. And I did go just brush some coffee over the top of this, because this paper, even though it was vintage, was still fairly white. It wasn't really nice and aged as much as this. You can see the difference in the yellowing of the paper, and I have ink just a little bit around that, but not much. So I'm gonna add some more ink to this to make it look a little bit older. But I'm thinking that this will fit better, that this will actually fit better on this cover. And then this on the back, kind of like the way I did mine from last year. And there's a video, I'll link that video for the cover for mine last year. Because I really want, I don't think I'm going to cover up much of this back. I think I'm going to kind of go to here with the collage part, from here over. And I may not even do that. What I might do is just collage this front, use this image, put some fabric here. I don't know. I think the collage to this point will do better. Like on mine, I didn't go, I went like right here, because I wanted some of this pretty red and white check to show in this vintage and this aging. I really kind of want that, but I had to do some repair to this book. This was one that I got from Renee over at GT Designs. I had to repair this because it was coming away. It was torn from the spine. So I had to repair there, and inside the book, you can see this is a really old one. So I'm going to cover all this stuff up too. But today I'm just going to kind of show you how I start. So the first thing I did was I took masking tape, and put this back together, okay? So when we get it all collaged and everything, if we come all the way around, that's going to hold, and then we're going to do it on the inside. So that should hold it for a pretty long time. I put several layers of masking tape, okay? So this is a good way to, repair one of these. And you can just put, like I said, you could just put fabric over it and then just use it as the cookbook. Use the cover however you want to do it. But today, I gotta drink my coffee. But today I'm gonna do some collage. So I've just gathered, I don't want to put all this up here, but I've just gathered a bunch of stuff. Ledger paper, sewing paper, some straw paper pieces, old vintage receipt, and just some other like cut-offs of tea-dyed papers and stuff. So I've just got a variety of things here. But what I'm going to start with as a base is, I think I'm actually going to start, I'm going to use some of this paper too. This is like a craft wrapping paper. You can see it's got the grid on that side. These are just some scraps I have left over. But I think as the base, I'm going to use some ledger just to get started, just to cover up the big parts. So like for here, so this will cover up that whole thing. And it'll just leave me a little bit of that red peeking out, okay? So I think what I'm gonna do is start with this. And if anything hangs over, what I do after it's done, is I just, if anything's hanging over, I'll pull it off, and then I just sand the edges, and then we can ink around the edges to make that kind of cohesive looking. So I like that piece, but I really like this piece because I like this number. I like having these numbers on here. And I'm gonna cover a lot of this up anyway. Tear that piece off. So it doesn't matter if this is, you know, torn up or whatever. So this is just my process. There's a lot of different ways to do this. You can start with smaller pieces. I use this PVA glue, which I've shown in previous videos, and I'm just gonna put quite a bit of this down. I use this PVA neutral glue. And I think I put a link to it to Amazon in another video, and I think I said it was like $18, but it's not. It's like $11.50. It's really not that bad. You can get a good price on it, and that bottle lasts a really long time. Now I'm adding water, okay, just to thin this down. And then I'm using a silicone brush, which I really like, and you can get those off of Amazon too. I think Rosemary Morris was the first one I saw using this, and I was like, those are amazing because you don't have to ruin brushes. And this, you can just pop it right in the water and that glue comes off. Now this might be a longer video because this does take a few minutes to do. So now we can just take our bone folder or a ruler, or you can simply use your fingers. I do like using the bone folder because it'll push out some of that glue that maybe I didn't get it all smooth, you know. Okay, now got some, I don't know what that was from. Let me get a baby wipe. I've smudged some of that. Okay, so that's kind of the first layer. And this can get, you can see there's a few bubbles in there. But when it dries, it will dry flat. Because this other one that I did, I'll do with it. This other one that I did, as it was, there's some you know, texture in it because I didn't make sure that everything was really, really flat. So you can kind of, I don't know if you can kind of see that, but for the most part it dried pretty flat. And then I put some gesso on that. So, so this takes, you know, this takes a while. It takes a little bit. It takes several kind of layers to get this done. So the tricky part is getting across this, okay? And getting paper down in these grooves without it being, you know, messed up when you go to fold your, you know, do your book like this. So the best thing to do is really kind of work on it this way, and then kind of work back and forth as it's drying to make sure that it's not going to look really, you know, wonky when it dries. So We're gonna try, let's see, I'll use a different kind of paper, I think. So I don't want to go too far over here. So I'm just gonna kind of tear it so that I don't want a straight line here, and I don't necessarily want an exact straight line here, but I do want it to be straighter over there, okay? Because I'm not gonna cover a lot of this up than I do up here. So, and I wanna come up to the edge because I really don't want this tape showing, even though it doesn't matter if a little bit of it shows through on the top. I just don't want it to be obvious. So I'm gonna add glue here. And you know, this is supposed to be fun, and so it's not supposed to be stressful. If this kind of stuff, you know, stresses you out, if things aren't, you know, super straight and symmetrical and stuff like that, and then this probably is not your gig. But so now I'm gonna come in here. So I'm gonna push this down first. I don't have enough glue there. And then I'm gonna kind of come in this crevice here with my bone folder, okay? And then I'm gonna go over like this. And you just kind of have to work it. And then come in here. So there's not as much, doesn't seem to be as much of an indention on the repair work on this side. Okay. So now you want to kind of, so you really sort of want to let it dry like that, you know. I hope that makes sense. And then I think I'm going to do another piece down here. And I'm going to kind of try to get this. And if you'll notice, I'm using the other side of this that's got the grid on it because I like that. I like that look. So I want to come down here, do this side, okay? So I kind of, when I do this, I do collage in sort of 3s or 5s in odd numbers of adding different elements. That's just the way I do it. I mean, it's not really a, it's not a rule. Don't have to do it that way. I just kind of do things in odd numbers. It actually is a design principle, but it's one design principle. So, you know, in what we do, like I said before, there are no rules. This is fun. This is what we do for fun. And, but I do think about those things because I did go to a couple of years of art school, you know, not any kind of prestigious school or anything, but I've always enjoyed art. And I did go to school for a while for it, but just never worked in it. Okay, so now we're gonna push this down. Now we're gonna go in this crevice. You see, well, I'm out of frame. I'm only giving myself a little bit of space here. So I did the same thing up there that I did up there down here. if you get it really wet, I kind of got that really wet. Just be careful because it will tear. Okay, so kind of like that. And then I got to figure out what I want to do to cover kind of those places. I could go back with some more ledger. This ledger is kind of brittle though, so I don't know if that's going to work as well. I do have this lightweight sort of paper. Let's see what else I have over here. Got some graph paper, but I think this lighter weight paper might do really well for here. Just a piece of it. I don't want to cover all that up. Just want to cover this up. And then we can add other little pieces. I'm just trying to get the base of this covered up. Okay. And then we can add other little pieces on top. But I want a good base to work on top of. So that's sort of what I'm doing now. It's just the base of this. I hope you found this helpful. This is kind of hard to do. You know, collage is just there's so many ways you can do it, and it's just personal preference, like a lot of things that we do. But this is probably another one that can be done in so many different ways. So it's just a matter of what you like. What kind of papers you like. You know, you can do colors. I'm doing a base sort of, I want this to have a, you know, vintagey feel. So I'm using, you know, the more vintage looking papers. Now this paper is not vintage that I'm putting on here now. It's just a, you know how in school you have like this really thin sort of drawing paper or wrapping paper that comes on a big spool, and you can just pull it off and you tear off big pieces of it. That's what this paper is, and it was recycled from work. Somebody was throwing it out, and I found it in the recycling bin, and it was full, and I swiped it. They were just throwing it in the bin because nobody really uses that kind of stuff at work anymore, but I use it. I've been using it to wrap my journals up, you know, as a base wrapping, and it's recycled, so hey, I'm using it for a lot of things. And there's a little bit of a crinkle in there, and that's okay. I'm not looking perfection here. I just want it covered, and I want to add some more security to that spine. Okay, without necessarily using fabric to cover it up. Fabric would be the easier way to go, but for the look I want for this, I don't want to do that. So let's see how long this is. Yeah. So you can see this takes a minute because I'm already at 20 minutes on this video. But I'm gonna do a long video. I'm gonna get as much of this in here as I can. Okay, so now we sort of have a base there. I can come back here with something else. Let's see where this is gonna be. So yeah. So I could just use like a little something. Let's see. Like this is just a scrap little piece of that really old French hymnal. And I love this. I love that really aged part right there. Let's see what this will do. So I could just put like that piece. Let's see if that'll work right there. closer to me. Leave my water and glue over here so I don't have to keep reaching. Well, this is a really brittle paper. I don't know. We'll see how that does. Okay, so let's come back to the front and maybe we want to put some of that. I've got some other pieces of that. I don't know what these say, but it's hymnals. They're hymnals, so hopefully it's a I just like I love the paper, and then I love the font. So I'm gonna put a couple of these pieces on here. Let's have it connect to those, both of those. So I took this piece and I made sure that it's touching all three of those pieces of paper there. Make it a little more cohesive. And then here, I'm gonna put this up here. This is very relaxing to do. If you want something relaxing to do on a hot day or a rainy day. It's not so hot here today. I think it's supposed to get up to like 90. But the last couple of days have been super hot. And we can just put that little bit of writing right there. And I still have some glue on my thing here. I'll do this. Anyway, this is, I don't want to cover up that number because I like that number there. But I'm also thinking about when I go back, so when I come back to put my, I'll constantly kind of go back and forth and put this piece up here. So when I come back to put this on here, I'm also gonna put some little sayings like Merry Christmas, or I'll probably put some snowflakes or other. I'm gonna put other little pieces on here too. So I'll probably put something down here. That gives me a spot to do that. So think about kind of blank spaces too. I don't want it all covered in writing. I hope that makes sense. So I just wanted, like I said, I just wanted a base to work with. But I do want to put, I've got this little piece of craft paper that's coffee dyed or tea dyed. I think I tea dyed it. Yeah. And I just want some other little bits of this on here. And I don't want the holes on there. But I want some pieces of this, like something coming across up here, or maybe up here. I don't necessarily want to cover that up that I just put down. So like that. And then I want some of that down here. Do that this way, maybe. And then maybe coming across here. Maybe across here. And then maybe another piece there, you know, a little scrap down here. And yeah, be careful because this is still wet. You could, you know, in between layers, I would probably let this dry, you know, a little bit more if I weren't doing it on camera. But I want you guys to kind of see this part of my process. How I get started anyway, the layers. Because this paper is lined, you have to be a little more, unless you don't care if it's, you know, really not super straight, which I don't care if it's really, really straight or not. And if I knew how to do this and speed up the video, I would do that. I don't know how to do that. I'm not tech savvy. It was all I could do to figure out how to do the YouTube videos. Of course, it's a little more user-friendly now than it was when I first started trying to do this. It still takes forever to load sometimes. But other than that, I can pretty much do everything on my phone. You know, I can do it on my phone now. Or do everything on my phone. I have always done everything on my phone, but it's easier now. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, see, this is already kind of stuck. And when it dries, it'll look a little bit different too. It's wet right now, so. Okay, so there's a good base. And you can even, like, you could come back, you can stamp on here, you know, when it dries. You could stamp things if you have Christmas stamps. So that's kind of my base. I'll probably do some other little things. I do need to let it dry. But, so, I'll come back in. I guess I'll do another video showing you how I come back in and add other Christmas pieces to it. Or I can take this over and let it dry. And I can bring this one out. Okay, so when I did this one, like I was playing around because I had some Santa Claus tissue paper that had, you see this? So I had some Santa Claus tissue paper that had the Santas, and it had the packages, and it had the reindeer, and then I had this Merry and Bright, and then I had this other Santa paper, but it ended up being, it was so bright. So what I did was, I came over it with some white gesso. I just did some white gesso in a few places. Okay, and then I took my ink, my little inker, my vintage photo, and just kind of went over, you know, this whole thing. I've got to go back and do some more glue here because this is sort of coming up, but I haven't sanded this all down yet. And I'm going to put, pretty sure I'm going to put this image on here. So I don't know. I may tear this part off so that the Santa will show through, you know, down here. But I'm not really that concerned about that. I really like, you know, I kind of like having that on there. This came from it's called Carrie's Kittens. It was a really cool vintage book that Chastity sent me. So what I'm gonna do for this though is I'll back it on some other kind of paper. Like for this, I just got some vintage, those little arithmetic pads, and backed that on there and stitched it so it wouldn't be so thick. So now that's what I need to do with this, and then I'll stitch around it, and then I'll add this piece, and then I'll go back and put like little, where's our little chipboard pieces? Let's see. So I have all these little, you know, I could go in with a big one, you know, that says "Let It Snow," and I could grunge this up, you know. I have all these chipboard pieces that I like to use. Like, see, like here's a star, you know, and here's like a little label that I could put, then somebody could put, you know, December on it. Or like, you know, here's a little Christmas tree. So I could put, a little label and a Christmas tree down there. You know, here's a little thing that says White Christmas. I'm just showing you just some potential little things. Here's a big, you know, Let It Snow, which if you like stuff like that, that would be really cute on there. It's another Let It Snow. I really kind of like these little pieces, like Happy Holidays, you know, and then, you know, White Christmas, and then you can put Burr with the star or a snowflake. I like using the little bits around, you know, you could put the little mistletoe over here and jazz that up that way, you know. Let's see what else I have in here. Some of these are too big. Like the little mittens would be cute. You know, I could do the little mittens over here or down here, you know, with the Happy Holidays. Like that. I could put, you know, one of these little vintage milk caps on there. But typically I like these little pieces. You know, I could put peace. That's how I did on mine. Mine last year, I randomly put those kind of pieces. So I don't know what I'll do yet, but those are just some ideas. For this one, and I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to do if I'm going to do this ring bound yet, and maybe put some fabric washi tape on the edge, or if I'm going to make a binding. My original thought with this was just to do another ring bound, just because I think those are super fun, and I've made all this washi. And I'm going to do a video of that too, the fabric washi. So I made a bunch of fabric washi, and I think this would be really cute. You know, this would be really cute on the edge of this, you know. And then on the edge of that, and punch the holes through it. So I don't know which one I'll use. If I use the one that's got the snowman, I kind of like this. I like this color, these colors together. So anyway, that's how I do my collage stuff. So I hope that's, you know, some good ideas, and I'll come back when I finish this. You know, I'll come back and work on it some more. But that's just how I do the base. And then I'll go back and do the same thing on this one. I'll go back and put some sentiments or something on here, or, you know, something else, but I need to let it dry. So anyway, so that's 36 minutes, guys. I hope you found that helpful, and just getting started. And when this dries, I'll try to come back and do the rest of it on video with you guys. And I'm gonna also do there's a couple of you that wanted to see how I make my fabric washi tape. So I'll do a video of that. And next week, be looking for 7 journals coming into the shop, because I've finished the 2 minis, the 2 snowmen, and the 2 wonder books, and then Rudolph. So those 7 journals are finished. I've just got to I've put little goodie packs together for them. I've just got to film the video and get them listed in the shop. So that's going to take a few days. So probably towards the end of next week, those will be in the shop if any of you guys are interested in those. And then whenever I get these finished, I'm not going to put myself on a timeline for these Christmas ones, because it may be closer to Christmas when I get these done. But I've got 2 ring bound, and then this one, and then this other ring bound journal. So there'll be 4 more Christmas ones coming to the shop, you know, before the end of Thanksgiving, or before the end of November anyway. Okay, but I've got some other things I need to do. I've got 4 custom orders I need to do too, and then I've got to work on my baby Owen's book. I'm going to do 2 of those sometime before the end of November too. So anyhow, I hope all you guys are doing well, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you're a subscriber, I can't talk. Thank you very much for watching me. And all you folks who make comments, who leave comments to me all the time, I love you guys so much. I appreciate you all so much. I appreciate all of you. And thank you. And if you're not a subby, please subscribe and let me know what you think. If you want to see more stuff like this, I know it's more time consuming, let me know. And I hope everybody's well. Love you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.